without wearing pants for the first time. One of them was shocked to find a beggar on the street who turned out to be her high school classmate. They all laughed at Tony for ending up so down and out. Back then he was the star of the school, especially the woman in red who used to be his girlfriend. Now she looked disgusted, grabbed her best friend and was ready to leave, afraid of being recognized by others. One of the rich women even pulled out her phone to record his miserable state, planning to post it in the class group for laughs. After filming they quickly ran away. Tony also recognized his former classmates, but he couldn't be bothered to argue with them, because Tony was actually a billionaire in disguise. Today he dressed as a beggar just to test if people still had compassion. At that moment a country girl rode by on a bike. She was shocked to see that the beggar was her boyfriend. She quickly got off to check what was going on. Tony told her he had failed in business, and was too ashamed to face her, so he came out to beg. The girl scolded him for talking nonsense, and insisted on staying with him through thick and thin. She said she'd take him to a hotel to clean up and change. At the hotel, she told Tony to go shower first, while she went out to buy him new clothes. Seeing this, Tony immediately took out his phone and called his assistant, telling her to prepare a betrothal gift. He had decided to marry the girl who stood by him, but to his surprise the girl turned out to be his ex's younger sister, and she had deep feelings for Tony. She not only bought him an expensive suit for the wedding, but also gave him $200,000 as a wedding fund. Tony was deeply moved, and swore to give her a grand wedding. Just then his assistant called, reminding him the Global Wealth Summit was about to begin. Top elites from around the world were waiting for him to appear, so Tony asked the girl to wait a little longer. He'd come marry her in 2 days. Then Tony returned to his company, where business tycoons bowed to greet him. They were all once funded by Tony when they started. Out of gratitude, they all offered to attend Tony's wedding, but Tony politely declined. He didn't want the wedding to become a citywide spectacle. He feared the girl wouldn't be able to handle such a grand occasion. Once his identity was exposed, global media would swarm in, and the wedding couldn't remain low-key. Though disappointed, they agreed to step back for now. Meanwhile, the girl in her wedding dress was full of happiness, imagining her future life with Tony. Suddenly her cousin barged in, and was puzzled to see her in a wedding dress, until she spotted the wedding photo on the table. Then everything clicked. She immediately mocked the girl for marrying a beggar she had dumped, and who lived by begging. Hearing this the mother flew into a rage, but the girl still insisted on marrying him. The cousin, seeing she couldn't persuade her, whispered something to the mother. The mother nodded and agreed to the wedding, but insisted on calling Tony herself to confirm his sincerity. The girl thought her mother had good intentions, so she handed over the phone without hesitation. But once outside, the mother changed her tone, and told Tony her daughter had changed her mind. She didn't want to marry a beggar anymore. Tony was stunned. Before he could react, the mother hung up amid a string of insults. Faced with this sudden change, Tony was confused, but still believed the girl wouldn't be so heartless. He told his assistant to hurry to the scene, unaware it was all a scheme by the cousin, who quickly gave the mother another wicked idea. Soon the mother gathered some villagers, saying a thug was coming to force a marriage, and asked them to block the road. Hearing someone dared to cause such trouble, the cousin immediately called a rich kid, telling him to bring money and take the girl away. At that moment, the clueless girl was still dreaming of being a good wife. Meanwhile, Tony sensed something was wrong, and rushed over at full speed, but at a bend in the road, he was blocked